Howdy folks, it's Ultron here and welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator, and today we're going to do a fun flight that actually wouldn't even exist in real life. And I'm completely serious about that. We are going to fly over Tibet, or more specifically the Tibetan Plateau. I almost said peninsula. The Tibetan Plateau. And why is this so significant? Because there are no commercial jets, airways, routes, anything that flies over the Tibetan peninsula plateau. I'm serious. You will never see an airplane fly over Tibet, except for maybe some local military operations. And if you don't believe me, I'll pull up Sky Vector. Here are the airways. Tibet is circled. None. No flights go over this area because it's too dangerous. So if we come back here to the real world, the real simulated world, you can see Tibet. We're in Tibet right now, but it's a region in China, just in case. Some people think it's a country. It's not. It's a region in China. A region controlled by China. Anyway, the plateau starts here. You got a mountain ridge, and then the plateau, and then the Himalayas, where Mount Everest is, and then India, right? So, in Nepal. So, the reason why nothing flies over here is because it's just way too dangerous. If there's an emergency, for example, a commercial airliner needs to get below 10,000 feet within a certain amount of time, but the entire plateau is like 12 to 22,000 feet. The lowest point is like 12 or 15,000 feet, so they can never get low enough, not to mention there's nowhere to land, not to mention it's rugged, and even if they could land somewhere, well, no one would survive anyway. So nothing can fly over the area other than like military stuff. So we're going to fly over it. So you might be wondering, how am I going to fly Slant Alpha over this peninsula? Well, I found some VORs at Sky Vector, which I'm hoping are in the sim. If not, we'll just have to wing it and make it up as we go. But there's some VORs probably for local operation. Because, you know, like right here, I can't remember the altitude we're at right now. I'll look it up and put it on the bottom of the screen, but we're pretty high even here. So locally, if you live here locally, you're going to be acclimated, etc., etc. So on the other side, there's some VOR. So there's a VOR here. We're going to use the VOR here, and then we're going to go to the other side, or to the middle, actually, and then the other side. In fact, let me pull up Sky Vector again. Here's the VFR section. You can see the plateau. It's pretty obvious, the dark brown. And here's the path we're going to take, with the VORs highlighted for you. So that's what we're going to do. That's the path we're going to take. Pretty simple. And then if I show you my flight plan, which I normally show you later in the video, but I'll show you it now. There's our airport in China. There's our airport. I believe it's India, technically. If it's not India, I'll put the technical location below right now, but I think it's India still, because we're going to be west of Mount Everest, I believe. I set this up a few days ago. Anyway, so here we go. The VORs, right? This VOR is here, then two in the middle heading south, and then one over here, and then boom. So this is the plateau here. We're going to go right across it, due south pretty much, and then along the Himalayas, and then land. So distances, I don't know. I think it's about 400 nautical miles, which seems like a lot. But this plane goes so fast, the JetStar, by the way. The JetStar goes so fast, it's only like an hour and 10 minutes or something, this sim predicted. So anyway, that's the plan. I also want to try to fly as low to the ground as we can, because I want to show you how it'll look like we're flying really low. However, when we look at the altimeter, it's going to be like 20,000 feet or something. So I set my IFR plan in the sim to 27,000 feet. But I'm going to have to make adjustments or it's going to yell at us. We'll see if ATC can handle this. Otherwise, we'll just cancel IFR and fly. Real world weather is turned on. Looks like a clear day. I haven't had a clear day with real world weather in a very, very long time. That being said, I see a line of clouds over here, especially once we get into the plateau. And the other thing, real world traffic is turned on. Not player traffic, though. And I do have my headphones today, so hopefully editing will be easier, and I can enjoy the sounds myself, although the sound is too low. I can't hear anything. but I might yell. So if I yell, I apologize in advance, but you'd be used to it by now. So anyway, we're coming back to the airplane. I don't even know where the airplane is. It's over here somewhere. Where's our plane? It's way up here. So there you go. So the JetStar today. We're just using the black and gold livery. And let me turn that volume down on my headphones because it got very loud. So anyway, there you go. I do need to disclose that the JetStar was gifted to me by Big Radials. Big Radials gifted me their entire hangar. I did not pay for any of the aircraft, but I do have all of them, and I love all of them, and I fly them as much as I can, mainly the JetStar. Well, I think we did the Grumman the other day. I guess that's a couple months ago already, but for me, it's the other day. I should do another Grumman flight. I'll add that to my to-do list. Alrighty, so anyway, let's hop inside, and we will get this thing going. I do have my checklist on my other monitor like usual. Just in case you don't watch every one of my videos, I have my checklist that starts with the manufacturer, the publisher of the airplane, their checklist, but then I tweak it to how I use the sim. Pretty straightforward. So anyway, let's come back here, and we gotta get some stuff going on here and over preset for this, but we'll get the stairs closed like so. And then once the stairs are closed, we can shut the door and then put the glasses away, or else there will be a problem. Come on. There we go. And anybody want some pillows? We can have pillows there. Make sure everybody's trays are up. All of these trays extend, which is great in flight. And there's a restroom back there, which I often go to in my videos, but just a matter of saving time. Let's not use the restroom right now. Otherwise, a couple things we got to do. We got to do the fuel bleed airline opener right away. And then we do fuel and passengers. Let's put some passengers in today. Sometimes we just do a ferry flight. Let's just do, I don't know, some random people. We don't know the people we're taking today. Normally I fill in a story of everybody we're doing and all this stuff, but we're just gonna put in some people and their children and even a brand new newborn and a few, well, not 1,500 pounds. Because this thing drinks fuel like I drink soda, let's fill this thing up. Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully get off the ground. When I fill this up, we have a hard time getting off the ground. Payload's only 33% though. Interesting. Huh. Oh, we have another passenger. What happened to our 8-pound baby? 10-pound baby. There we go. That's better. Okay. There we go. So let's see. Fuel and passengers. We've got to put the mixture up on my yoke, which I say every time. People tell me I'm not supposed to have to do that, but I do. I've proven it a few times. So we're not going to have that conversation. Battery start. It already is. I should put confirm on my checklist because for things that I don't have to actually do, I just write to confirm that it's been done in case there's an update to the plane or something. Battery on. Voltmeter to battery. And that is very loud. Holy cow. Windshield inverter off. It already is, right? Yep. Windshield inverter off. Confirm. Put that in my checklist because then I know it's already done. Main 1 to transfer. Main 2 on. Bus select to essential. I saw my Logitech multi-panel light up on my desk for autopilot, which I can explain that I did figure autopilot in the plane to work with my autopilot on my desk. I'll explain that in a minute. Weather barometer already. Okay, great. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about this autopilot thing. So autopilot down here is super obvious, right? You turn it on, heading bug, hold your altitude, tune in your nav, which is your VORs, or follow the nav and then pitch up and down for climb and descent. Very simple, right? But I use my Logitech multi-panel on my desk, which has autopilot, flaps, auto throttle, which doesn't apply, and then pitch, right? And I do that because when you're down here trying to do things and it's all shaky, it's hard to click things. Sometimes you click the wrong thing. I love my multi-panel. It works perfectly fine in the flight sim. The other panel, the switch panel, does not work in flight sim anymore, except for like one plane, and sometimes that one's bad. But the multi-panel is fantastic. A lot of YouTubers drive me crazy on flight sim because they're like, oh, the Logitech stuff doesn't work. I'm like, well, yes, it does. Not all of it, but some of it does, and some of it works quite well. However, how does that tie into this? Well, those of you who watch my videos will know that with my multi-panel, my vertical speed maxes out at 1,500 feet up or down per minute, which isn't viable for climb or descent. So I figured out if I simply use pitch up and down, each time you click it, it's about 500 extra feet up or down. So you just click it a few times, adjust your up or down, however you want. Don't touch vertical speed on my multi-panel. Perfect. So I can still use my multi-panel for altitude, heading, course for the VOR, and nav, all that stuff, whatever. Just don't touch it for climb and descent. Use this instead. Piece of cake. Should have been doing that for months. I don't know why it took me this long to figure it out. I don't know. Anyway, so super easy. So back to what we're doing here. So now we're going to do the weather and barometer. So is there an ATIS? There's not an ATIS. So what I could have done was paid attention to the weather when I did the flight plan, and I didn't. So I don't know what the weather is. We'll just hit B for barometer. Holy cow. Look at this. We are at what? 4,500. No, what is this? Where am I? 4,700 feet. Just sitting here, which isn't that bad. But when we get to the plateau, I think it's like 12,000 to 20,000. So we'll fly low to the ground if HCC will let us. And then it'll look like we're hovering on the ground, but this is going to be way up high. It's going to be super cool. Super fun. I just hope that, yeah, this altitude we should be able to take off with plenty of runway, full tank of fuel. Yeah, we should be able to. The other thing we can do for weather, if we want to, is we can click on the airport. Sometimes it'll tell us if I can get the right click spot. Come on. There we go. It's not going to tell us. That's fine. Whatever. The other thing we can do is go to the local MEDAR. Here we go. Nope, no weather. No weather. Okay, whatever. I set the sim for 9:05 a.m. That's sim time, not real time, not local time, just the time I chose. Rule weather's turned on. Already told you that. So there we go. There's our barometer. All right, IFR clearance, right? I hope. Yes.
Hotan Tower Turtle Soup Tango 41 IFR to Nepalgunj ready to copy.
Turtle Soup Tango 41 is cleared to Nepalgunj Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 11 left climb and maintain 11,000 feet. Departure frequency is 119.3 squawk 0437.
Turtle Soup Tango 41 cleared to Nepalgunj Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 11 left climb and maintain 11,000 feet. Departure on 119.3 squawk 0437.
Turtle Soup Tango 41 read that correct. Contact ground on 118.65. Good day.
Alrighty, so I set my autopilot to 11,000 feet. And let's go down here and get this set up. So let's see here. We're going to take off from 113.1, assuming these VORs are even in the sim. I hope so. So 113.1 we're going to leave from, and then we're going to fly to 114.5. So we'll get that set up and ready to go. I don't have any intersections laid out because we're departing and approaching each VOR at the same heading, which isn't normal. Let me show you my flight plan again. So we're departing this at 175, approaching this at 175, leaving and departing and approaching 172, 136, 170. Normally what happens is you'll leave out like 175, then there'll be an intersection, then you approach the other one at like 165 or something, and then you go this way. And then there's intersections, etc., etc. But there aren't any intersections because there aren't real airways here. I didn't make up my own airways because planes don't fly here, so I'm just keeping the same. So this is simplified. Usually there's another step in between, but so we'll just go until we run out of contact and then do the next one. I'll show you how we'll do that with heading bug and stuff in between. Don't worry, I'll show you everything I usually do. I don't know if this is going to be a 1 or 2 part video. You know, because you're looking at the title, but it just takes so long to get going and everything. I don't want to rush through everything. So plus with Slant Alpha, I like to show you what I'm doing. And there are more VORs in this one. There's like 5 or something instead of like 2. So I don't know how many, 1 or 2 videos. I don't know. I'm just going to go at my pace and see how this goes. So there you go. Clearance has been done. Let's get this thing started before we run out of time. Verify it's open. Yes, it is. Right there. That's this thing here. Air start to normal, which is like that. Beacon on. Yes, it is. Select engine 3. And come down here and do the boost pump for 3. Come up here and hit the start button. Come down here, and this will get to like 40. Then we'll start engine 4, 2, and 1. It's really nice that it's daytime and I can see what I'm doing, because a lot of times what happens is I start in the morning and I can't see what I'm doing. Alrighty, let's say that's good enough just because for time. So we're going to go here, we're going to go to 4, come down here, hit the thing, come up here, hit start, and as soon as I hear a click, I will do the next engine. I've got to turn down that volume, it's getting loud. And where's that click? Any second now, there it is. So now we're going to do engine 2, come down here, get the fuel going, hit start, and listen for the click, and then I will do the next engine, the final engine, which is 1. There's the click, come up here, and 1, come down here, give it some fuel, and hit start. And then when I hear a click, and actually when it's all stable at 40, I'll turn the starter off. And that's about 40, so we'll turn the starter off. And then we'll do all generators, so we actually flip up to turn them on. There we go. That's the other thing. If I don't turn my generators on in time, all my engines die, even though, again, I've been told that isn't the case. But I've proven that, too. So I'm just a special anomaly, I guess. I guess special anomaly is redundant, or whatever. Alrighty, let's come over here, turn on anti-skid, which is that right there. Number 1 inverter goes to on now, which is there. Number 2 inverter on, confirm, because it already is. Let me update my checklist to confirm. Bus select here to, to 115, right there. Fuel line air bleed close now, okie dokie. Verify all the caution lights are out. They are. The starter and gauge will go out eventually. Let's see, auxiliary hydraulics on, that is so. The gear, if the main hydraulics fail, the gear can still work. Verify pressure 2000, it is, that's right there. Wing inspection light on, that's for anti-ice. Nav lights on because we're going to move in a minute. And flight plan discussion already did. Let's just confirm I put... What? I lost my radios. Now these radios are... What the heck? That's probably because I accidentally turned these off. And then back on again. Okay. My goodness. So here we go. 113.1, 113.1, 114.5, 114.5. If I go to this one... Is it going to mess up? Okay, now they're both on, which is fine. This here has to be for this, which I don't have. This is a payware add-on, which is why we have to fly Slant Alpha, but I don't care because I love Slant Alpha. I would do Slant Alpha anyway. Because I've tried tuning these to get like my next VOR to see where we're at. Doesn't matter. But this is the one we'll tune to with our autopilot, which is also this one here, which reminds me I have to set my course to 175. The crosshair is the direction you're going. And we know that because I do 175 on my multi-panel, it is 175 there. Heading bug. Let's get the heading bug ready to go in case I screw something up. We know where we want to go just looking at the heading bug. We might have to ask, no, we don't have to ask curve to get out of here. I think we can climb steeply enough that we don't need to worry about the mountains. Alrighty, here we go. Flight plan discussion already did. Time to taxi. Let's request taxi. Here we go.
Hotan ground turtle soup Tango 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 41 ready to taxi IFR.
Turtle soup Tango 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 41 taxi 2 and hold short of runway 11 left via taxiway Alpha cross runway 11 left Alpha. Contact tower on 118.65 when ready.
Taxi to and hold short runway 11 left using taxiway Alpha cross runway 11 left Alpha Turtle Soup Tango 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 41.
Why are they having us back taxi when we don't need to? I think I'm just going to taxi like a normal person. That's weird. That's super weird. Alrighty, let's see here. Taxi, auxiliary landing lights on, which is this preset here. There we go. No smoking light on. Seatbelt on. It doesn't ding and chime, sorry. Transponder on. I think it already is. Yep. Let's just write confirm for that too. Because, you know, I never updated my checklist after the plane was updated last year. It's been a couple months. Hydraulic system 2 on. This is for the flaps. So if the flaps don't work, they will work now. So now we're going to do flaps down 2 clicks, which is there. And then the flaps come down right away. Then we can turn this off. If we can find the 1 click spot that does it, there we go. And then we begin our taxi, hiccups and all. So we'll come up to our favorite taxi view, and we will not request a pushback, so this person just better duck, because we're just going to go right through them and pretend this doesn't happen every time. And we're just going to go around here. And head this direction to runway 11, which we'll know because it'll be opposite us. Yeah, there's 11 there. Yep. Okie dokie. And we're off to fly over the Tibetan Plateau. When I was preparing this flight, I kept calling it the Tibetan Plateau, but then I looked it up and it's actually Tibetan Plateau. Anyway, I'm going to yip-yap during the taxi because people want to see more taxi time and they want to see more ground operations. Because normally I would just cut this out of the video and then we would take off. But people want to see the airports, and I don't disagree. And it really wants us to go that way, but we're not going to. But anyway, even though it looks like a nice sunny hot day, I assume it's pretty cold. I don't remember where OAT is in here, outside air temp, but I assume it's pretty cold. But we'll use anti-icing anyway, because there still might be clouds when we get to the mountain ridge. But anyway, yeah, I'm very excited about this flight. I've been having a fun time finding different flights to do lately, and I don't know why I'm spacing my videos out so far. I'm recording pretty much every night. My kids have been doing some school. It's the time of year where they got to catch up on school before the holidays. So they've been doing school. My wife's been working because she's a professor, so she also has to keep up with school before the holidays. And piano's too disturbing to them, so I've just been doing some flight sim stuff. And yeah, so I've been recording almost every night, but I'm spacing my videos out really far, just so that when I don't have time later, I still have content coming out. So by the time you watch this in like mid-December, I might not have touched the sim for a month. I don't know. Anyway, we're just going to go all the way out here. There, it wants to agree with us. It's like GPS. When GPS recalibrates or whatever, recalculates, I guess it says. But anyway, beautiful airport. I'm very glad it lets us use this, because I wasn't sure if they would have the airports in China or like North Korea. I've never done flight sim in North Korea. I want to. I probably should. Maybe I'll look that up next, see if there are airports there. I just don't know what it is. Which also means I don't know how good the scenery is going to be here, because I can't imagine the flight sim people are flying around China, North Korea to get super high res imagery. I don't know. Maybe I'm totally wrong, and of course they're allowed to do that. I don't know. Not sure the relationship with like Microsoft and stuff. So I'm also curious to see how detailed this is, or if it's pretty basic. Like we flew over, what's that famous national park in South Africa where people take safaris and things, and it's the most incredibly beautiful thing. But in the flight sim, it was like flight sim 2000 or whatever, like Century of Flight. It was like worse quality than that, just because they won't let anybody fly around and get imagery. So we'll see. We will see. All right, successful ramble once again. You're used to it by now. And we're just going to stop right up here, and we will call tower as soon as it flips the ribbon to the next part onto the runway. Then we know it'll trigger, because if I try to call tower now, it won't show up. So as soon as it flips, we know we can. So right there we go. Okay, stop that. What I'm talking about is this option here won't show up until that flips to there. So here we go. Let's get clearance.
Hotan Tower Turtle Soup Tango 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 41 ready for IFR departure runway 11 left.
Turtle Soup Tango 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 41 altimeter 30.54 wind calm. Cleared for takeoff runway 11 left.
Cleared for takeoff runway 11 left. Turtle Soup Tango 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 41.
Alright, landing lights on. If we go down, whoops, up to go down. If we go down, we get our double lights. Stall warning 2 on. This is a bummer to find, but it's here. If you zoom in, go over here and find that one click spot. That's how you get your stall horn if you need it, which we will need it. Verify flaps, yes. Note the time on the clock. It is 9:22 a.m. sim time. Anti-ice on. I think it's just these 3 here, which is your heater and your windshield. And oxygen, which is down here. Which one is it? These guys. And take off. So it says to take off in their checklist at 115, which is right here. And I've never successfully taken off that slow. It's like 140 or 150 even. The landing speeds in this area are right, but the takeoff speeds are not. So I still have 115 on my checklist, but it's more like 150, 140. So I'm going to let the plane take itself off. So I'm going to trim way back so that it'll take itself off when it's ready, and then gear up and flaps up and all that stuff. So here we go. Let's get onto the runway and take off. And we'll do autopilot almost right away. And I'm just checking our direction here. Yeah, so with autopilot almost right away, we will use the in-plane autopilot for climb rate and stuff. But yeah, so we have it all set, ready to go. Right, double check 11,000 for now, and then I will request a much lower cruise at first and get low to the ground. And yeah, so let's get out here. We do need to spool this up. We're going to use this entire runway, I imagine, especially because we're starting at like almost 5,000 feet. I know a little bit to the left. It's kind of my signature at this point. Here we go, spool up gently and release the brake, and away we go. And I'm going to be quiet while we take off, and let's enjoy the sounds. So that's supposed to be rotate, but there's no way we would get off the ground right now. Yeah, it's not even trying to get off the ground. Can we get off the ground at 140? Nope. 160? There we go. What's that, 160? 160, and we're still getting stall horn. Gear coming up. And perfect. Trim down now. 1 set of flaps up. 2 set of flaps up. Beautiful. Look at that city in the background.
Tango 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 41 contact Uroki Center on 119.3. Good day.
119.3 Turtle Soup Tango 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 41. Goodbye. Uroki Center Turtle Soup Tango 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 41 is passing 5,800 feet, climbing 11,000 feet.
Turtle Soup Tango 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 41 Uroki Center altimeter 30.54 radar contact continue.
Alright, I'm hand flying still just because I can, and it's so smooth and beautiful. Look at the snow caps over there. Alrighty, so we're hand flying for a second. Are we going to talk about how it almost sank when I brought the flaps in? I was too busy sightseeing the city, and I almost Went into the ground. Well, that's what happened. Alrighty, here we go. Let's do this. Let's get heading bug ready so we can fly towards the VOR track like this. So we're going to do autopilot heading. We'll start with vertical speed at 1500, but I'm not going to come down here now and flip this thing up so that we're more like 25 or 3000. And if you come down here.
Turtle Soup Tango 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 41 climb and maintain 17,000 feet.
Okay, I totally screwed up my autopilot. I'll explain what I did.
Climb and maintain 17,000 feet. Turtle Soup Tango 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 41.
First, we're going to set to 17,000 on autopilot. Actually, going to knock. I have to turn off autopilot because I screwed up already. Because see, I can't get above 1500 because I touched it because I panicked. So we'll do autopilot heading. Right, 17,000 is set. Can I pitch up? Is it going to do anything? Yes, now it will. Okay. Whoops, and we totally blew through our VOR because I was too busy fixing my climb. So let's explain what happened in a second here. Wow, that's beautiful. Look at that. We're at what? I can't see. We're at 10,000 feet. And it's like we're going to hit these mountains. That's crazy. So, in my panic, because there's terrain, I turned on autopilot and immediately went 1500 feet per minute. And then I was going to fix it with this, and I wasn't able to. Let's keep one more steeply, because one, we can. Two, because we got terrain in front of us. So anyway, so I panicked, and then it wouldn't let me go higher, so I had to turn off autopilot, redo it all. And as soon as this intercepts, which should be any second now, I'll hit nav on my GPS. And then we'll be well on our way to 17,000 feet. We're already at 13,000. So nav right now. Yes. There we go. Yes, please. Thank you. Thank you. Anyway, so we are going to keep this VOR in tune either until we lose it or until 100 some nautical miles. Then we'll tune in the next one, whatever. I'll use heading bug to hold it in place while I check. I'll talk about that when it happens. Too soon for that. So anyway, we're off, right? What's our speed? Okay, we can climb even more steeply than this. We don't need to. So we're going to, what?
Tango Tango 41 climb and maintain flight level 250.
Climb and maintain flight level 250. Turtle Soup Tango 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 41.
Alright, so I think I set our cruise to 24, 25. So we'll do that cruise, and then we'll see what the plateau looks like. And if we're too high for the dramatic effect, then I will have us come down. But the plateau is after this mountain ridge. So once we get over these snow-capped mountains, then it's going to flatten out. And then it'll just be crazy because it'll look like we're close to the ground, but we'll come down here and realize we're not close to the ground. Alrighty, so let's see. Flaps are up, of course. Gears up, of course. We can do the auxiliary hydraulics off now because our flaps and gear are up. If I can get over there, goodness gracious. Come on, let me get the one click spot without touching the autopilot. Come on, autopilot, the gear. Come on, there we go. And then normally what you would do is you would do the cross feed and turn all the cross feeds on, but I don't because you can turn those on though, but I don't because the plane turns off when I do it. Other people have success turning all the cross feeds on, but the plane turns off, so I don't touch them. But anyway, it's beautiful scenery. Okay, so yeah, we trimmed for 340, which we'll get to once we level off here in a little bit. We're at what, 21,000 feet already, heading for 25, and following the VOR. And that's it. So we're just going to hang out now and just do some sightseeing. I'm cleaning up my other monitor because I got a lot going on my other monitor here. Sightseeing. Keep an eye on my speed as we get higher. We'll keep the landing lights on. And super easy. So we give some sightseeing now. You'll hear my voice when we get to the plateau because we'll discuss elevation and altitude. And I want to keep an eye on a vertical climb or vertical speed because it's getting a little slow over here. And then, yeah, we'll go either until this runs out or until I pick up the next one. So very simple. It's not that complicated. I love Slant Alpha flying. Come on, how do I turn you down a little bit? Because you're getting a little slow in airspeed here. There we go.
Tango, Tango, 41 climb and maintain flight level 270.
Climb and maintain flight level 270 Turtle Soup Tango 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 41.
I guess we'll go to 270 unless it's too high for the dramatic effect. But I mean, these mountains are pretty high. The Himalayas are pretty high too. Okay, so I think we're going to be good. Oh, look, we lost that. So let's do heading bug right now because we already lost our VOR. So let's do the next VOR and see if we can pick that up. We might not. Nope, we're in no man's land. So I'm going to keep our heading bug and hope we don't drift too much because of wind, because heading versus tracking are different things. We're going to keep our heading this way, but we might track a different way because of wind. So now we're in no man's land, so we're just going to keep going like this until we pick up the next VOR, which is 114.5. So let me tune in the next VOR, which is 113.7, which is really close to the other one, but whatever. I could have skipped this one. And then once you pick up that, we'll get to it. We'll switch to this. We'll do all that on camera, don't worry. So right now we're just going to use heading bug and hope for the best until we pick up this next VOR, assuming it's in the sim. In fact, I could do this. Nope, okay. So let's go back. Alrighty, well, simple enough. I'm going to keep track of our speed, which is going to be fine once we level off. I'm going to keep track of the terrain. And, well, you can already see the peninsula. Look, I mean the plateau. Here's the mountains to the north. Here's the plateau. Here's the mountains to the west. And then there'll be a southern ridge, which is the Himalayas. So there you go. Alrighty, enjoy some sightseeing. I'm going to fly as much as I can without talking. I'm going to try to keep us on track. Maybe using the VFR map or something. Because we're totally in no man's land right now. Which was the whole point of this video, right? So there you go. Yep, that's it. I will see you in a little bit. I hope we clear these mountains. My goodness. Alright, jumping in with the sightseeing, because this is what I wanted to show you. So we're cruising along at like 340, and we're at 27,000 feet. But look at this. Just like we're along the ground. Of course, if these were mountain peaks like this, we'll get close to mountain peaks. That's normal when you go over a mountain range. But the flatness in between, look how close we are to the ground when it comes to the flatness. Let's hop outside. Oh, that's so loud. But look at this. The overall flatness. What am I doing here? See that? Just the general altitude or elevation versus our altitude. Look at that. Look at all this. It looks like we're so close to the ground, but we're at 27,000 feet above sea level. So again, just for people who don't fly mountain stuff very often or don't do flight sim, they're just looking at the scenery. When you fly over a mountain range, of course you're going to get close to, if let's say the mountain range is 18,000 feet or 16,000 feet. You fly over it at like 20,000, 30,000. Yeah, you get close for a little bit, but then once you're beyond the range, you know, you're 20,000 feet above ground, right? But here, even between these little ridges and ranges, we're still close to the ground, even though we're at 27,000 feet. So that's why planes can't fly here, because there's nowhere to land, first of all. Like, if you had an emergency, you can't just land here. This is rock and soil, and you can see how a glacier came through and water comes through sometimes when it melts. Like, you can't land here. It's either rocks or soft or both. And then, even if we did land, the altitude is so high, even on the elevation is so high on the ground, you can't breathe unless you're acclimated to it. So, yeah, airplanes cannot fly here. But to make sure we're on the right track, pun totally intended, since we're in no man's land, the wind must be really light, because I'm following along on Google Earth, or Google Maps, Google Maps, and I'm following along on this. And the next VOR in Sky Vector is right, oh, there it is right here. See? It's right south of this water. So I looked it up, Sky Vector. I saw this lake thing. I'm like, okay, we're going to aim for that. And we kind of are. And then here's the VOR right here. And it's 114.5. And that's what my thing says. And then right next to that is 113.7. And you might be like, Turtle, you just lied to us because there's an airport right here. There is, but this is for like local operation. So people who would be flying in and out of here live around here. They're acclimated to the altitude or elevation, and it's no big deal. You would not land a commercial jet here. And, well, you can't land a commercial jet here. And regular passengers who aren't acclimated wouldn't do very well. So yes, there's an airport or two before the Himalayas which run along here, but you wouldn't operate commercially. So let's hop back out here and check this out. Holy cow, we are so close to those ridges. It's so awesome. I can't believe we're not picking up that other VOR. Y'all saw how close we're getting to it. In fact, let's use heading bug and go a little bit that way. So that must just be a very low range VOR just for local operation, which is what I said it was going to be anyway. That's how I found it. So we may never pick it up, but we'll rely on our VFR map to get there. Now this might be a short, like 70 or 60 mile range at most. Anyway, but we're going to follow those, and then after that we're going to 113.4, which I believe is this one. Yep. So we'll just make our own path right here over the peninsula, and then I can't zoom out more, and then these are the Himalayas, and then we're headed right there. So not much more to the flight. It's not that complicated. Anyway, I'm going to try to keep tuning in VORs if it'll ever let me. I'm going to keep an eye on our speed because we are crawling up in speed. Otherwise, enjoy some more sights for a little bit as we climb over this range. And the Himalayas are right here. So I have to check Sky Vector and see how high these mountains are. We might have to request a cruise increase to get over that range. let me do some research, and I'll be right back. Enjoy some sights. Alright, just keep an eye on our speed here. It keeps climbing, then going down, then climbing. I wanted to show you something else if you didn't notice already with keen eyes. I'm just looking around here as the mountain range gets really close. The next ridge, Himalayas again, here and here wrapping around us. Alrighty, we're very close to the train, but we're at 27,000 feet. What else do you notice? We finally picked up our VOR. It showed up at 30 nautical miles. That was the max range. So 114, we want to go in at 175, which I think we're already set for. So let's use heading bug to get closer to it, to get back on track, and then we'll switch over to nav when it crisscrosses. And then we'll immediately tune in the next one, which is 113.7. And I totally lied. This is going to be a two-part video because I want to include all of the VOR to VOR operations since it's Slant Alpha. So you're going to be with me for a little bit here. Something else I wanted to point out that happened way back a long time ago was the turbulence over some of these ridges is insane, which is another reason they don't fly here in real life, right? Because the weather is unpredictable and the up and down drafts are insane. The turbulence is ridiculous. Even if we were to fly at like 36,000 feet or something, it's crazy. So we're going to keep an eye on this VOR here. And as soon as it crisscrosses, we will switch to nav. It's only 18 miles though, so I'm going to stick with you for this. We can look outside together though while we're waiting. And then after we tune in 2 VORs from now, I'll turn you loose to sightseeing again. But I just want to be with you for these operations. So we'll tune in these VORs and then we'll split the video into the next part. And I wanted to find this lake river thing. It should be up here a little bit. Over here? Where is it? Where did it go? I guess I was thinking of something else. So anyway, there's a VOR. We're going to miss it, I think, because we're so far to the side. But that's okay. Then let's tune in the next one. Yeah. Because we're going to fly by it because it's way over to the right. So it's way over here is the VOR. And we're going to miss it. So I think what we'll do, we'll keep heading bug the way it is. Let's tune in the next VOR if we can pick it up yet. And we can. So we want to fly in at 172. So let's set course to 172. And let's use the heading bug a little more aggressively because I would like to line up with this VOR because there's an airport there and a town and I want to see the town. So unless we're going to run into this mountain range, which I don't think we will be a little more aggressive to get on track. Then we'll hit heading to do the heading. That means we also have to tune in the next VOR, which is, so we're at 113.7 right now. So we want to tune in 113.4 over here. And there we go. I'm not sure how far away that is from this little town I want to see, but that's where we'll split the video. And that's starting to move, which is fantastic. But let's be a little more aggressive in getting over there. Because like I said, I do want to see this tiny town. This is an amazing flight. It's better than my expectations. This is so gorgeous. It is so nice to see all this. Just look at that. Flying where you would never fly in real life. And the scenery is perfectly beautiful. I don't know if China let them fly planes here or not, but the scenery is gorgeous. It's really detailed. Much, much, much more detailed than I thought it would be. I'm thinking back to that, you know, wildlife park in South Africa and how awful that scenery was. Because it was just very high satellite scenery. But this is really good. So it's much, much more beautiful than I thought. It's much more enjoyable to fly this than I thought. I am so pleased that I thought of this flight. I'm so happy. Hopefully you're enjoying it too. And we're definitely going to clear these ridges. We're at 27,000 feet. SkyVector says the highest point of the Himalayas where we're going to fly is 26,000 feet, and that puts us 1,000 above terrain. But I don't always trust it in the sim, especially like during the bush trips. It'll say this mountain is 10,000 feet, and we fly at like 15,000 and we're still not high enough. So we might have to climb, because here's the Himalayas. Here we go, the Himalayas. All the way Mount Everest. That could be Mount Everest. In fact, it might be, because we're going to fly here into Nepal, and we're going to be west of Mount Everest when we land. But at this altitude, I wouldn't be surprised if we can see Mount Everest before we cross the Himalayan ridge and descend. So that very well could be Mount Everest right there. Maybe. I mean, you know, I bet it is actually. But we'll see as we come down. Because of course you can see Mount Everest from, I don't know, 100 some 200 miles away maybe. I really don't know how far away you can see it, but it's a clear day. And this is live weather. I did not take the clouds off for this flight. So anyway, there we go. Let's hit nav because we're about to cross over. And then we'll get to that town, and then we'll tune in 113.4. I have that set up, right? Yes. Alright, it's going to S-curve a little bit to get there. 3 miles out, I don't see a town at all. So I don't know what I was thinking or where I thought I saw a town. But there's definitely nothing here. And no airport. So, just a VOR, because we're going over right now. It is hunting more and more. Anyway, there's a VOR down there somewhere. Maybe right there. Oh, there's like a village. There's a little town there. There's a little village. Okay, cool. Scary. I don't know what it'd be like to live there, but there you go. Alrighty, we're going to lose the VOR in a second here, so let's get heading bug ready to go. There we go, heading bug now. Yeah, we already flew over it, see. Okay, so what's next? 113.4, and we're going to approach it at 136 degrees. Oh, we don't have it yet. So let's go back. Let's go back to the one we were leaving. And we'll do 100 and what was it, 136? So let's do 136 on course, move heading bug over. And once we line up again with our outbound, we will use nav on autopilot. So let's get established, and this is where we'll split the video just a minute once we're established. I'd lost that little village, but it was super cool. So yeah, so flying where no one would actually fly in real life. How cool is that? And ooh, our speed is down. That's okay, I can fix that later. So now we're parallel to the Himalayas just until we get back on track. And then we'll turn back towards the southeast and go along the Himalayas a little bit. And then once we get to the next VOR, which we can't even reach yet. Oh, there you go. Hit heading bug, or nav I mean. No, nav. No, nav. No. Now it's going to have to S-curve a bunch. Whatever. So once we lose this, I'll tune in the next one, 113.4, and then we'll communicate again there together. But one more look around, because this is where we're going to end this video as we get established here on on our track towards the next VOR. How beautiful is that? So hopefully you enjoyed this first section. Like, subscribe, turn notifications so you know when part 2 drops. I'll try to get it out tomorrow or the next day for you. And I'll see you from here, but then.